Hey guys, welcome to the Tall Guy Ed EDC YouTube channel. I am Tall Guy Ed, and this is where we do unboxing and gear reviews of all things EDC. And today we're going to be looking at two particular holsters specifically for concealed carry. This is the Crucial Concealment One Light Many Guns internal waistband holster. This is a holster that I wanted to grab because we have so many different types of guns that most people want to just switch between. And of course, on your CCW, you have potentially up to 3, maybe even 5, depending on what state you're in, to have a holstered weapon for you to use. And of course, with that being said, I feel like having a holster for every single type of gun is just a little bit unsustainable, a little bit annoying. And so I figured I'd try things out with something about having a universal light for those guns. So on most of people's EDCs nowadays, I believe they tend to have a go-to light that they have on nearly all of their guns, and the interchangeability between that really helps out in figuring out what holster that they can do. So I was able to find this particular holster on Arrowhead Tactical website. I actually thought it was their own holster, but it turns out it's a completely different brand, which is cool. No issues there. Just as long as it's functional, I don't really care. So this one is the Ambi Universal Light Holster for the TLR-1 and TLR-1 HL. And this one is the Ambi Universal Light Holster for the TLR-7 AX and HLX. So it has a little bit of coverage for a little bit of everything. Of course, this is the Streamlight specific light holster. I tend to think that they're like the perfect middle ground in terms of lights for guns. So both the TLR-7 and TLR-1 are highly popular, so I wanted to cover these two particular ones and see how they do. So right out of the box, nothing crazy. You can see right over here, it has the very clear distinction for what light it is. What I really like about it for wrong-handed people like me is specifically that it is Ambi capable, so you don't need to get a very specific one, or finding a specifically left hand with a specific light holster has been tremendously difficult for me, or just more of a battle in general. So this is actually a really cool system, and I'm really excited to see it. Over here on the back, it tells you what the different index points are, like selling points are for number 1 over here. The holster indexes on the light specifically, so it fits most different types of guns. 2, it's retention shim, so you can do a specific one and adjust it for yourself. And then the kickstand itself on number 3 over here is something that helps you prevent printing as heavily or as obviously so without that kind of additional claw. And you'll see that very commonly as a feature for internal waistband holsters. You can adjust the friction for retention, and then it's fully ambidextrous. Again, for a wrong-handed person like me, this is something that I'm looking really forward to. And then exclusive clip design that holds on belt and clothing to enhance and like make sure your draw speed is fast and secure. So we're gonna crack this open and see what we got. So inside you have the actual holster, which we'll talk about in a quick moment, but it comes with this whole little insert about all the things, what you can do for retention adjustment, how to convert from right hand to left hand. You can do ride height and cant adjustment, and it's optic compatible, which is really, really helpful nowadays. I think most people in general tend to want optics on their handguns. I think it's just the new standard. 10 years ago, people would argue iron sights all day, and now it's just, what are you doing? Why are you a boomer? So this is really, really helpful. I will be taking a look at that later on, and I will be opening up this one as well. Not much different in terms of the actual holster, but specifically for the light itself, so we're not going to worry too much about the boxes. This is the holster right here. So this one is the Covert Internal Waistband TLR-7 Crucial Concealment. It's Kydex. It's not ultra thick, which is really nice. The claw is built into the actual retention aspect of the holster, which I think is pretty cool. The clip is also made of a plastic or ABS or like a Kydex kind of like material. It looks like it has a good solid retaining aspect to it right here. Simple, clean. This one is for the TLR-1. I think these are going to be really, really helpful. I'm actually going to be using these to test out the different lights that I will be unboxing in a different video. So if you're interested, please stay or check out the next couple of videos. But these will be the next unboxings as like a little bit of a sneak peek. But Crucial Concealment, bought it off of Arrowhead Tactical. I didn't know it was a completely different brand, but happy little findings. And you can see where like the different screw holes can go for making it the Ambi capable. So you can switch this to the back over here, and then just make sure that you're like retaining it well, test it out before you use it in your daily carry. Thanks guys very much. This is like a new channel for me. I'm going to be working on doing a lot of different content, so hopefully you guys like it. Mainly unboxings, gear reviews, and then I have a few things in the pipeworks regarding like Kevlar helmet with a particular brand. When I get a chance to talk about it, or when it's actually in hand, I will be able to show a little bit more. So stay tuned, subscribe, like, give me your comments, laugh at me, do whatever you want. We're going to be doing a lot more of this content. So thank you very much. Have a good one.